Hi everyone, my name is Noor Aziza binti Arif and today I'll be talking on the topic of trust issues. In the words of George MacDonald, to be trusted is a greater compliment than being loved, and I am totally agree with that. The phrase I trust you had deeper meaning, which by me it's more meaningful than the phrase I love you. Nowadays, I could see that love has actually lost lots of its meaning. People nowadays are saying I love you just like they are saying hello and hi to everyone. This is totally different with I trust you, which is not a common word to say and to be heard every day. It's quite rare to hurt people to say I trust you because it will always intended to a very specific particular person. I have a strong belief that trust is a foundation for everything we do. It is a glue for our society. It presents similar relationship that allow us to live and work together, feel safe, being loved, and belong. And if you could learn to trust one and another a little bit more, I believe that we could have unprecedented of human progress. How hard it is to trust someone, or to be specific, how long does it take you or me to put our trust into somebody? 10 minutes? 10 hours? But the real question is, what about if the trust is actually broken? What if, imagine that your boyfriend cheated on you with another girlfriend, with another girl, or maybe your girl dated with another boy? What if best friend of yours shared your biggest secrets on social media? There's a famous saying that say that trust it takes years to build, a second to break, and forever to repair. Well, I have experiencing myself have a trust broken with my own family, and this was happened back on 2018, where I have made a huge decisions where I wanted to stop my Form 6 when I just left with 3 months to be graduated. This is a really huge decision that I made, and in return, I received a negative feedback from the people surround me. These people surround me who always mentioning themselves to be by my side during my best and my hardest times are slowly turning back from me because of my decisions, which they are assuming this is not a decision but that is actually a mistake that will ruin my life and my future. And that was when I lost my trust towards them, and I would say that is one of the most toughest moment in my own life. Alright, now to rebuild trust. Frances Faye on her TED Talk had mentioned three component parts of trust which really catch my attentions. That would be authentic, logic, and empathy. This is by means in order for us to rebuild our trust, we must have to understand these three components first, and these components are super well understood. Let's start with authentic. Authentic. If you sense that a person is being more authentic, we are much more likely to trust that person. As for logic, if we sense that these persons have real rigor in logic, we are far more likely to trust them. And for the last one is empathy. If we believe that his or her empathy is directed towards you, you are far much more likely to towards them. And if these three things are working together, we're going to have a great trust. But if any of these are shaky or wobbles, the trust is threatened. So out of these three, the most common wobble is empathy. The most common wobble is when people just don't believe that we are mostly in it for them, and they don't believe that we are too self-distracted. I believe that we all wanted to repair our trust issues, and the way to do that is by understand where the trust wobbles for ourselves, and we have to be ready to make a prescriptions to overcome it. And by that, we can hope that we can actually engender more trust tomorrow, literally tomorrow, than we do today.
So I'm going to tell about types of common betrayal and some examples of it. The most common forms of betrayal are harmful disclosure of confidential information, disloyalty, dishonesty. They can be traumatic and cause considerable distress. The effect of betrayal include shock, loss, and grief, morbid preoccupation, damaged self-esteem, self-doubting, and anger. Some types of betrayal in romantic relationship include lying, forming a coalition against the partner, absenteeism or coldness, disrespect, unfairness, selfishness, and breaking promises. Betrayal is the breaking or violation of a presumptive contract, trust, or confidence that produce moral and psychological or conflict within a relationship amongst individuals, between organization, or between individuals and organization. Often betrayal is the act of supporting a rival group, or it is a complete break from previously decided upon or presumed norms by one party from the others. Someone who betrays others is commonly called a traitor or betrayer. Betrayal is also a commonly used literary element, also used in art fiction like films and TV series, and is often associated or used as a plot twist. Betrayal is when someone you trust lies to you, abuse you, or hurts you by putting their own self-interest first. Betrayal as loss. Betrayal is probably the most devastating loss a person can experience. When an individual is betrayed by someone, they lost their trust in that person, and yes, trust issues commonly started with this. Examples of betrayal in a relationship are emotional cheating, taking your partner for granted, and lying your partner even about a stupid thing. We don't want to hurt the people we care about. We want to control the perception other people have of us. We want to maintain our risk of our status. We like to protect our own selfish interests, and we want to control others. But as fundamental as lying seems to be human beings, trusting relationships are also a basic human need. As we all know, lying destroys trust. Research shows that small lies make it easier to tell bigger lies. When you add in self-justification, sometimes the lies become so big you start to believe them yourself until you are caught and forced to sustain the relationship, damaging consequences, and may ultimately end up destroying the relationship completely. Lies often start as self-preservation, but generally turn to self-destruction. It is common to think that the consequences of telling the truth outweigh the risk of telling a lie, but even when you don't get caught, a lie often damages the relationship. So how do you overcome this? Make honesty with your partner a conscious decision and a habit. When you make a regular effort to be truthful, even with the small things, it makes telling big lies less easy. Knowing that the consequences almost always outweigh the benefits is something you have to keep present in your mind. For many people, finding a good, trusting relationship is a monumental life task. Destroying a perfectly good relationship because you didn't think out the consequences of a lie in some ways a tragedy. So, the attention getter that I use to this kind of topic is quotation. There is one quote that can be related to trust issue in a couple relationship. It sounds like, a relationship without trust is like having phone without service. And what do you do with a phone with no service? You play games. It means if someone who didn't trust their partner, they prefer to cheat on them.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Rafael Muhammad Faizal. So I'm going to talk more further about trust issue, which is ways to overcome it. So ways to overcome trust issue, one of them is stay present, which is this is the simple idea that's easy to forget, but staying present with your friends, family, partner can help reduce some of your anxiety that's causing your trust issue. If your partner has cheated on you in the past, You have to discuss it, solve the problem as soon as possible, and then you have to keep moving forward so that they can fix and can learn from their mistake. And you have to stop living in the past. It is hard to forget when someone has done something to hurt you, but when you build trust, you have to let yourself escape the anxiety of the past. So the other ways to overcome it is know what you want, which is other people will disappoint you unless they know what you are hoping for, and more importantly, they will let you down unless you know what you want and what you are hoping for. Life Hack explains that you need to put yourself first in order to know what you want, and don't regret being selfish all this time. It is time to find what makes you happy in your relationship and what truly excites you. The more you understand what you want and needs, the more you can trust them. So the last point of the ways of overcoming it is let go of your fear. Most of us have experienced betrayal before, so it is hard to let our walls fall and exposed to those around us. But in order to learn to trust, you have to let go of the fear of hurting. Understand how opening yourself up to hurt also means you will opening up to love, joy, and affection. There are times in life where you will get hurt at the hands of your loved one, but understanding this and knowing that you will go through it rather than fear it, you will overcome your belief. So overall of the topic that we choose, which is trust issue, mean that trust is essential of all human relationship. It begins with our earliest social interaction and has powerful implication for our most intimate relationship throughout our life. There is still much to learn about the origins of trust, the way in which people develop in a specific relationship, the consequences for a relationship when trust breakdowns, and the ways in which trust can rebuild. However, as we continue gain knowledge about trust, the things we learn hold great promise for enriching the quality of our most valued intimate relationship. Last but not least, I'm going to show the quotes that has been created from Santosh Kalwa, which is trust yourself, you will start to trust others. So that's all from us. Thank you.